Well, you got the blue light there. You got some artwork.
Yeah, some
You look-
wonderful artwork.
You look like a real booktuber.
We're on our way. I want to get some. Wrong side. I want to get some curtains and a light over here instead of over there because you can't really see the artwork with the way the light is now. And it's a work in progress. We're getting there.
Dare to dream. You're taking good baby steps there.
Oh, we're on our way. Not like you. You got a whole setup.
I'm done. I'm fully cooked. Welcome back to Talking Story. My name is John Minton. Hey, welcome back to the channel. That right there is my literary wingman, the boy wonder of my booktube bondsmith persona here.
Emily St. John Mandel.
No, not even close.
I would love to be.
Man, she does good stuff.
She does.
She does good stuff.
You're right. I am nowhere close.
So you just added her book, right? I don't see it on the shelf.
It's a little dark. It's right there. Okay. I got Station 11 and Sea of Tranquility right next to each other.
So you have both.
I do. I have not read Station 11, but it's on my list pretty soon. I want to get to it maybe before the end of the year.
Yeah, I would say that's a good goal. I would say you should absolutely try and do that.
I hope to.
Yeah. All right. Well, dare to dream. Hey, can you believe it's October 1?
I cannot.
This is the last quarter of the year.
That's weird.
The last quarter of the year, man. We are this close to hitting Dragonsteel. We're this close to putting a bow on this year, to putting a bow on the Cosmere catch-up, and hitting Dragonsteel.
I wonder if there's anyone watching all of these like TBR and wrap-up videos in order through the year and just seeing every month we say we're so close to Dragonsteel. And yet...
you know what? I have a hard time believing that, but...
That's probably true. But we are actually close now.
We are actually close. It is the last quarter of the year. I can't believe the year has gone by this fast. All of you are largely responsible. We've had so much fun. It's gone by so quickly. And here we are, the beginning of October, and that means we have to go through everything we read through September. I tried to stack the deck for myself in September because it was my birthday month, and I wanted to have just nothing but like 5-star reads that I would love, and I absolutely did that. I mean, so many 5-star reads for me this month, and it was just unbelievable. So should we get rolling?
Go for it. Let's see it.
Let's do this. The month started with Ordinary Grace by William Kent Kruger. This was the Quilluminati read. The Quilluminati read is the book club that consists of me, Mike from Mike's Book Reviews, Dr. Chase from The Best of Fantasy, and my brother from the north, Brian Bell at BellTube. He actually dreamed up this whole club. So once a quarter, we kind of get together. We read something maybe a bit out of our comfort zone that we might not have tackled on our own. And we get together and we talk about it. We kind of have like a little bit of a book club feel. It's awesome. And this month's was picked by Mike himself over at Mike's Book Reviews. He loves a coming-of-age story. So many people have told him, you will love this one. And not only did he love it, we all loved it. This is one of those, go in with a box of Kleenex, I would say. The emotions are so real, so tangible. The needle kind of oozes over to the literary feel. It does have a mystery. If you like mystery, it is an Edgar winner, Edgar Award winner for mystery. But I would say the mystery is at the heart of it, but just at the real heart of it as just beautiful ribbon swirl that goes right through the middle of this is the emotional context of these characters. It just struck me to the core. I've never been to Minnesota. I grew up in a small Texas town, and I don't think that matters. I don't think it matters where you grew up, what time frame you grew up. This is probably going to speak to you. It's probably going to have that texture to it that there was a moment in your life that you realized when you moved from childhood into adulthood because maybe some things were causing you to see the world in a different way, and you had to start waking up a little bit and realizing about more of the world around you. This captures that so well. It captures so well the time period it takes place in. It captures so well these veterans coming back from the Great Wars, and the American dream is somewhat unstable, somewhat shattered. They're trying to get themselves back into life the way they understood it before they left, the way it was promised to them in the American dream package that they were sold to as young people, and how they're trying to bring it to their children and sell it to their children as well as the next generation coming up. And in this, a mystery happens, and this young boy and his brother are at the heart of it. And it's a little bit of Tom Sawyer. Every coming of age story you can imagine, it has that little bit of flavor, but it puts so much topspin of it, of Mr. Kent Kruger's of his own on there. I don't want to give too much away because it is, again, at the heart of it, it is a mystery. It is also a wonderful meditation of grief and class and the world of family and how we fit in, and also so important, faith and how we see the world through what we believe and how we define it through what we believe. So much going on here theme-wise, and it's done just so perfectly because you can attach yourself to all of it. Again, regardless of where you grew up or how you grew up or what the circumstances were, I think there's something here for everyone. If you have had a human experience of growing up that you can hold on to and understand and get emotional over. I got a little misty. Now, I think it was chapter 2 that I got misty. I was before everybody else. That tends to happen when I read things like this. But a lot of months, I would say most months that I read this book, it would be book of the month.
Is it not this month?
Not this month.
Wow.
But I would say most months. This was a 5-star. Look, I couldn't take any points off for this. Like I couldn't.
Well, you cried multiple times. You better not.
I did. And the cathartic ending was just like, it just crushed me. But could I take some points off? It took a little while to get to the mystery. I didn't care. I was learning about these characters and stuff. It worked so well on every level that Mr. Kent Kruger was trying to make it work on. I couldn't take any points off. 5-star read. Most months, this would absolutely be read of the month. Not this month.
Shocking.
What came up next? Oh, it's another buddy read. It was another buddy read. Hey, we are reading The Bound and the Broken by Mr. Ryan Cahill. We had got up to Of War and Ruin, and this is a big chunky boy. And that, who's reading this? Me, and again, Dr. Philip Chase over at The Best of Fantasy, Mike from Mike's Book Reviews, and Chris Navo at Chris Navo The Next Chapter. We got together and we talked about, we haven't talked about this one yet, but we talked about the Exile, which is the novella that slots in right before this one. And this is the next one we're going to talk about. So I wanted to work a little bit ahead and get this read. And oh my gosh, look, Ryan Cahill becomes a better craftsman, a better storyteller with each book that comes out. Before this, The Exile was my absolute favorite. I was all in on Dane. I was all in on Belina Luna, the characters in that, how they came together, how the world broadened. I really started to understand the story being told of this empire rising and falling again in this circular fashion through the eyes of these bound and broken, bound to dragons and yet broken when that part of their soul is ripped away and they've lost their dragon in these conflicts. So I really started to understand thematically what he was doing in the Exile, and I'm all in on Dane. He's like my guy of Blade and by Blood. He's kind of like my favorite character, even more so than the main protagonist. But look, this one I think takes the cake again. This is like, gotta be 1,000 pages, gotta be super close to 1,000 pages. And this thing, the pace on this is, I would say unrelenting, but that's not true. He's taken a step as far as pace where he has these ebbs and flows, and he has these moments of character development, and he has these moments of character vulnerability, and these honest conversations between these larger-than-life, long-lived, almost immortal-type characters as they're looking at the world and looking at what they've been through and looking at what they have to do, what's destiny's calling for them to step up and do at this moment, as well as the same type of vulnerable, honest conversations of some of the younger people that are thrust into this role of hero. And when he slows down like this is when the magic starts to happen. If you were all in on these characters before, you will be even more so as he starts to slow down and show you a little bit of emotional vulnerability and a little bit of emotional growth. What are these moments of high drama, high action, high octane violence? What type of cost is it paying to them? How are these young people feeling as they come into the world that they've only just now becoming an adult into and see what's being called for them to do? All of these little costs and things paid are really starting to hone in these slower moments in this pace that now ebbs and flows from the high octane action, which he was always good at from book one. Now he's peppering it with some of these emotional moments that I've been so longing for. Characters, and he's mining some of the things that some of my all-time favorite writers do, like George R.R. Martin. Some of these characters that you kind of love to hate, you're starting to see come around a little bit, and you're starting to think, wait a minute, I should not be rooting for this guy. I should not, and yet, I hope he makes it. I hope he makes it here. The deck is stacked against him, but I hope he does. And the same for the others. The same for the others. It's like, okay, these are my heroes. These are my ride or dies. Wow, that's a gray area. That's a questionable call that you're going to do, that you're going to throw that card out there. I mean, well played, but dang. I mean, wow. So, I mean, he gets you on both sides of the fence for these characters because they are complex enough with gray areas enough and moral ambiguities enough to be real and tangible to slot into this, truly, truly high drama. I cannot wait for the next book. The next book is the novella Ice, and we finally get the story, I believe, of how Aeson found this dragon egg, and I've been wanting to have that story for a while. And then after that, the next one, where this one leaves off, I think we're really going to start to see some of the big bad. I think we're going to get to some of the big bad, and I am itching for it. I am absolutely itching for it. Some of the big bad here, not that the big bad's taken the field yet, but some of his generals, the sophistry, the arguments they have of why they're in the right, the villains that always feel like they're doing everything for the best reasons, for the most wonderful reasons to save this world from itself. They absolutely believe in what they're doing, which makes them even more, just makes them even more tasty. He does so many wonderful things with this volume. This one kind of really moved it into me to say, nah, this is it. When the new book comes out, I'm going to have to clear the decks. I'm going to have to go in right away. It's not one of those. Before, with Exile, I was like, oh man, I'm all into this series. I really am. With this one, I mean, with Exile, I would have bought it day one. It might have gone over here for a while until I could make time for it. Now with this one, where this one ends and what's going on and how this one builds and gives me those emotional moments and those emotional beats with the characters, when the next book comes out, not only is it a day one buy for me, it's I got to clear the decks and get to it very, very quickly. So this, every time I read something from him, he takes a step, and I take a step more and more into this series, being all in on this series. So this, I cannot wait to talk about this one, particularly with the rest of the group, and I absolutely look forward to it. I think we'll be doing that in this month of October. We don't have a date yet, but I think it's coming.
But is it your book of the month?
Most months, I would say most months out of the 12, when I did this and I saw someone on their artist journey like get to this heights, and the thrill that gave me and the story, how it sucked me in, and these emotional moments that I was absolutely invested in with these characters, yes, it would have been my read of the month.
But not this time.
Not this month.
Wow, I'm trying to remember what else you read this month. That's
not this month.
Crazy.
You know what I had? We had the Cosmere Ketchup book.
Oh, I don't think it was this one.
We had the Cosmere Ketchup book. I can't say this was my absolute Cosmere favorite, but It was a heck of a fun read. I really am enjoying these special projects. I really think you're starting to see, it's like an amazing stonemason. I'm going to say it's like an amazing stonemason.
Okay.
And the artistry of what he builds or she builds is just second to none. You look at, I'm not talking, he doesn't lay the bricks or she doesn't lay the bricks to make a lovely, strong, amazing wall that would keep the sea from crashing through or hold a house up. No, there's artistry here. They make a cathedral. And this stonemason is so attached to what he's building that even his off time when he's at home, he's still chipping away and trying to learn new ways to mold the stone to present to the world. This is what I think these special projects are. This is an artist in his quiet times. No publisher, no agent is waiting for this. In his quiet time, what is he still doing? He's out in the backyard with a big old hunk of rock, beating that stone, trying to learn new ways for him to create, new ways for him to present a sculpture, new ways for him to build a cathedral, new ways for him to go further than just a wall. And I think that's what these special projects were. And then he decides for whatever reason he's going to share them with his family who they were written for. And then he decides to share them with all of us. And we get to see kind of behind the curtain of how he's trying to stretch himself and grow and be a different, I'm not going to say better because a lot of people loved his work already, but a different type of artist, right? And this one, so many of the Sandersonian tropes were absolutely there. A fish out of water, a star-crossed love affair, a love affair that starts extremely uncomfortably and grows from there. World building that is just so finely honed. Everything is well thought out. And then an ending that you should have seen coming. You should have been able to figure out. But yet the red herrings made so much sense, you went along with those as well. So the ending still surprised and shocks you. And all the way through this, as this author is trying to become a better author and work himself into higher levels of artistry, this has a theme going all the way through it about artistry. What does it take to create? What type of honesty do we have to bring to our creations? How will they stand up? How will other people rely on them? How will our friends rely on them? How will the society at large rely on them? What will we do to make them honest and make them pure? What will we give up? All of this going through this. Not my all-time favorite because, let's face it, it's not Oathbringer, but this was a great, great Cosmere read. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the Cosmere connections. I hope they kind of come back around. And I think there was some wonderful humor in this. I think, I know some people, the Sanderson humor doesn't work on them. For me, it does. And I think it's a question of casting. If you cast the right people or the right voices to be selling these lines, they'll play just right. So it's in your head, you've got to cast the right people. But it all worked for me. I had a great time. There are some months this would absolutely be book of the month.
But not this one.
Not this month.
Man, what did
Not
you
this month.
read? I feel like
Not
I
this
should
month.
remember.
You know what? What about the Patreon read?
I don't think it was this, but I know you did really love this.
The Patreon read, and speaking of, we could take a little break and let people know how that happens.
Smooth segue.
You like that? Hey, just a quick break from the show to say a very special thank you to all of our correspondents, our directors, and our producers here that help us build the channel. Together, they do so many things. They help us make decisions. They help us keep the lights on and keep rolling, all the way up to taking over our channel once a month and getting their content on our channel. If you're interested and able, you have any questions about it, right down there in the description box under the Patreon link, you can find out all about it. And just a very special thank you to all of these people. Now, back to the show. The Patreon read. How was this? They voted and they had The Justice of Kings, Book 1 of The Empire of the Wolf by Richard Swan. I have been wanting to get into this trilogy for a good while. I was so happy that it actually won. I have all 3 lined up, ready to go. Oh, this just struck every chord for me. Such an amazing character study of Conrad von Volt. His whole being, his whole reason for moving forward day to day is this ideology of the common law, the law that we all subscribe to, the law that defines us as a society. Even though in this empire, he was not a part of it, he was part of what was conquered and brought into it, he still feels like this society, this common law is the answer that sets us apart. It is how we all work and move forward together. This is his reason for being. This is his reason for saving young orphan and making her his apprentice. His reason for having another veteran travel with him as his sword arm if he needs backup. These 3, as they move from case to case out in the hinterlands of this empire, because even out in the hinterlands, the law must be upheld, not just in the metropolitan cities, but everywhere. Everyone must answer to it. And again, this is an empire that's starting to sprawl a little bit. It's starting to spread out a little bit. It's starting to have questions as this empire spreads and it starts to take bits of these conquered people's religions and tries to make it their own, to make them comfortable, to become part of this society. Cracks start to form. Not only there, cracks start to form in the aristocracy, the leadership, and the Senate, in these metropolitan areas. These places where these decisions of empire are being made, there's schisms starting to happen. And in the middle of this, we find Conrad von Volt. And these schisms, just like tectonic plates, are going to start to cause pressure in his life as he tries to figure out what's going on in this murder mystery that he's trying to adjudicate. He starts to unravel a deeper and deeper conspiracy that goes deeper into this empire. And these questions of schisms in this empire, and just like tectonic plates, the pressure will start to cause him to spiral out of control and question everything he believes in. And as he starts to spiral further and further down, you just have this amazing character study of in the midst of this empire starting to fracture because it's sprawled too far. An amazing framing narrative of this young orphan, and I'm trying to remember her name. Somebody in comments hit me up with her name. It's just escaping me at the moment. A great character for her as well. She's telling this story in the far future as an older woman looking back, and the framing, it works. This character study is phenomenal, and you know how I love me some horror.
I do.
Oh, you got necromancy in here. You got the ability for him to, if it's not been too late, the ability for him to actually talk to and speak with the victim and get what really happened so he can solve these cases. Some of these types of powers that belong to this judicial branch of the society, but now the religion is starting to say, these were our powers before these ideals of the common law took place and it moved over to the judicial branch. We want them back. These schisms are just going to cause so much pressure. Oh, this was just made for me. A character study of somebody spiraling out of control. Questions of empire and religion and what you're going to stick to, the framing mechanism that you kind of know where this is going to go someplace nowhere good, and at the same time you can't stop reading to see how it gets there. All these things are some of my favorite things, and it had them all, and it did them to all such amazing effect. I had just the best time with this. The ending, so hard not to just pick up book 2 right away. I really wanted to just plow right through and move right on into the book 2. But most months, this 5-star read would be book of the month.
It would not be the first time a Patreon pick was your book of the month.
Yeah, it wouldn't be. It happens quite a bit. They know me really well, and they absolutely knocked it out of the park with this one. This was an amazing birthday Patreon winner, and this was amazing. I had such a great time with this, and I can't wait to get back to Empire of the Wolf. Not this month. Not Book of the Month this month.
What was it? I can't remember.
You know, I'm going to save it to last. I'm going to hold it back. I'm not even going to do it in order. But I can tell you, this will probably remind you, afterwards, my hair was blown so hard, it was like I was in that convertible on a beautiful sunny day. That's how hard it was. I was wind chapped by how hard my hair was blown back by my Book of the Month, that I had to have some sorbet. I had to go to some short stories and have a little bit of a palate cleanser before I moved on to anything of substance. So I grabbed this collection this year that Stephen King came out with, So You Like It Darker, and I read a couple short stories. I read The Turbulence Expert and Lori. And I had such a great time with both of these. I talked about this just recently. Both these stories kind of just illuminate to me why I have been such a fan of Stephen King for so long. In Turbulence Experts, he's able to take something. This is a man that has traveled so much in his life, I'm sure, from one event to another. And he takes such a mundane thing like turbulence on an airplane, and he creates something fantastical out of it and magical with it. And he does that over and over again in his works. Just he sees the world in such a different way, and he's able to just take the experience that we all live through in this country as a shared existence, and just put it through a funhouse mirror enough to warp it just enough to make it move the way he wants it to move, and serve it back to you and go, you didn't see it like this, did you? And you never do. I just enjoy it every time. And after that was Lori, and this is just, this was a tough one for me, because just a story of a widower trying to move on with his life, and finding the best way to move on is attaching himself, with the help of his sister, to the soul of a new puppy. And this smoky gray furred puppy that just wins his heart and brings him back to life as he's dealing with grief and things in Florida. And wow, it just again, he crafts characters in a way that are so tangible and so immediate that you know them so well. You've been next to that person. That person's probably in your family. That person has dealt with grief. You tried to help them deal with grief. And it just hits home. He just understands what the shared human experience is that we all have, and he's able to speak to that. He's just able, it's almost like, that person that just gets that needle that just hits that point just right under the skin that gives you that shock. That acupuncturist, he's just got that touch. Pop, 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 and you just know immediately what he's talking about because you're plugged in to your own experience that lets you live through the experience he's relaying to you. Had a great time with that palate cleanser, but wasn't quite enough. I wasn't quite cleansed enough from my Book of the Month. So, hey, I hadn't done some comics in a while, so I grabbed the next arc. I had all 6 of Arc 2 for World Tree from James Tynion IV and Fernando Blanco doing the art from Image Comics. And I read the first arc. I enjoyed it so much. And the second arc, every bit as good. I really think that if you enjoy comics, or maybe you don't enjoy comics, maybe comics are just like superhero tropes, and you've never really gone deeper into what they can do with sequential storytelling, this collaborative form of art, this would be a wonderful place to start if you enjoy horror at all. The first section, the first arc, the first 6 episodes are in a collected volume. We'll put a link for all of these.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because everything was great this month.
Fair enough. They will all be in the recommended section.
But this one, let's put a link for the first collection.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, the first collection. So a story about, look, hey, we're on the internet right now. We're all on the internet so much. It's where we spend our time. It's where we look for the next thing in our life. It's our hopes, it's our dreams, it's everything that we're funneling into now is funneled into cyberspace. What would happen if that world of ones and zeros, that cyberspace, is butting up against another dimension, maybe a dimension we don't want to be butting up against, and it starts to realize all this activity and it starts to bleed through. And as it bleeds through, some young hackers realize it. What will they do to stop it? What will they do to save the world? To save the world, will they have to end the world? These are the types of questions that we're dealing with, kind of like a cosmic horror cyberpunk tale. And it's a true breath of fresh air for me. And that's kind of the thing. Comics are not only superheroes, and they're not only that type of story. You can have all kinds of stories. And if you want to try them out, this would be a great place to start if you like cosmic horror or horror at all, or dark fantasy even. I think you would really, really enjoy it. So we're going to put the first trade in the recommended section down there.
Yes, we will.
And that just left me with enough space for one book, and I finished it today.
Oh, what? Okay. I think I might remember now.
I just finished this today.
Let's see it.
And I had backed the Kickstarter from Rob J. Hayes for the God Eater saga. And it's like 3 book 1s. And then the next one, I believe, will be 3 book 2s. And you're starting to get this huge view of this world. And the 3 book 1s in this one are kind of separated by hundreds of years. And it starts to tell the story of Dien. And I believe that all book 2s tell like a different story. He was like, if you want to come back, come back. No way, I'm not coming back. This was so metal. I can't believe this story wasn't just sprayed across a van with like demons and angels and bombastic explosions and thralls pulled in between. Like, it should be sprayed all across a 1970s van in huge lurid colors. This was just such a metal read. I dug it so much. What a story. What an origin story for a hero. You can't go lower than the depths this character goes through. You cannot. Let me tell you, trigger warnings galore. Wow. This is like depraved, just in the muck stuff. But as she rises and ascends by the end, you want to pick up that next book so badly to see what happens. This is, oh man. If you want some big, bombastic, heavy metal fantasy, this is your jam, man. I had such a fun time with this, and I'm glad I wrapped up my month with it and finished it just earlier today. And I can't wait to pick up, I believe the next volume of these 3 books of #1 is Deathless. And I hope to pick that up real soon, because it's about the same length. Pretty, look at that art inside.
Wow.
Yeah, pretty short, so I should be able to squeeze that in hopefully relatively soon. Some months that would be my book of the month. Like, it was that level of fun.
And yet, it's not.
It was not my book of the month.
Well, what was? Let's see it.
There is no question. My book of the month is Royal Assassin by Robin Hobb, Book 2 in the Farseer trilogy, The Beginnings of the Realm of the Elderlings. Look, I started my Robin Hobb journey last month when I read Assassin's Apprentice. And it hit me so hard. I was like, that's it. I have to adjust all my TBRs going forward to get the next 2 books in. And I hope I can get book 3 in this month, but it's a very packed month. I'm doing everything I can to fit it in there. But, everything from book 1 just got amped up in this. The power she has, the moments she has. People will talk about the pace of this. It's a slow burn. It's not. It's perfectly paced at the speed of life. As this young protagonist, as this young man, Fitz Chivalry Farseer, moves through his life, a bastard in this royal court, trying to find his place in the court and the world, he's trying to find his father figures as his was stripped away from him. He finds basically a triumvirate. They each kind of represent different areas of what he's going to pull into himself and who he's going to become as a man as he moves forward through his life. Everything about this book and this story is perfectly constructed in the architecture to be about connection of people to people. The magic system of skilling and wit is about attaching yourself somewhat telepathically, from one to the other over long distances, attaching yourself, relaying information, understanding one to the other so you can make that attachment and hold that attachment. Skilling, the skill would, or the skilling would be doing this with people. Now the wit would be doing this with beasts, animals, having an attachment with them. So everything about this, from the magic system moving forward to the threat to empire, which is these outlanders outside coming in, basically causing, taking people from the empire and turning them into the forge, where they're stripping away any chance that they have of being part of society, stripping away any chance of them being able to connect with people, making them, for all intents and purposes, zombies. They no longer realize or recognize anything but self and their basest desires, right? They don't recognize family. They don't recognize any past relationships whatsoever. So you have the two extremes. You have a threat to the empire, which is just an understanding of society living together under those auspices of a social contract. You have the threat to that, stripping away all of those ideals of family and social contract. You have a magic system that's all about connection. At the heart of this, you have a protagonist, a young boy, a young man coming into manhood, starting to find out how he's going to address himself to the world at large, what type of person he's going to be, what is he going to stand for. And in this, of course, we're getting to the teen years. And of course, young love raises its head, and it was done so beautifully here. That love that is dramatic and grand and sweeping because it hits you for the first time, and it's so bold and new, and it's like you're convinced no one's ever felt like this before. This is portrayed so beautifully in this. Everything about this is about being, yes, there's magic systems, there's court intrigue. Everything about this is about the human experience. It's just lightning in a bottle for me. It's just everything I want when I pick up a piece of art. It stimulates me intellectually with the themes as well as emotionally. So many of these things. I'm an older guy. I'm reading a lot of books, as you can see. And sometimes, like earlier with Mr. Ryan Cahill, like I like this book. I would give this book 5 stars probably, but I couldn't quite come up with a name. I could rattle off every name. In this because the characters take up such weight and they're so tangible and they're so real. You've got Fitz and the triumvirate of father figures of Burrich and Shade and Verity. You've got King Shrewd. You've got Lady Patience. You've got Lacey with her. You've got Hans working for Burrich. You've got, all the way down, I could rattle. You've got absolutely, as Shakespeare taught us, never underestimate the fool. You've got all of these amazing characters thrown into this pressure cooker of a pot of this empire under siege. And what will it take to save it? What will it take to keep the society marching forward? And who will be willing to make the sacrifice? And what will that sacrifice be? And how much of that person will be stripped away? These moral questions of how far will I go in this job of being a hero and a protector? How far above society will I have to ascend to where I can no longer be a part of that and I have to be on the outside myself because I'm looking over it? These questions of how far will I allow myself morally to go if it's asked of me to keep the wheels on the wagon of society. Everything about this just was hit out of the park for me. And look, there's a couple parts, and I these won't spoil anything, but I think you'll get a sense of what I'm talking about.
Oh,
you'll get a
reading.
sense. You'll get a sense of this is about a life lived, not a life lived in a fantasy world. It's a life lived anywhere. Let me just find my place. Okay. See, this, more than anything else, is what I have never understood about your people. You can roll dice and understand that the whole game may hinge on one turn of a die. You deal out cards and say that all a man's fortune for the night may turn upon one hand. But a man's whole life, you sniff at and say, what? This not of a human, this fisherman, this carpenter, this thief, this cook, why? What can they do in the great wide world? And so you putter and sputter your lives away like candles burning in a draft. What good is a life lived as if it made no difference at all to the great life of the world? A sadder thing I cannot imagine. Why should not a mother say to herself, if I raise this child aright, if I love and care for her, she shall live a life that brings joy to those about her, and thus I have changed the world. Why should not the farmer that plants a seed say to his neighbor, this seed I plant today will feed someone, and that is how I change the world. And this little part right here, this struck me. You think this is just about a young man coming of age, but this speaks to so many people. It speaks to everyone I can imagine. Oh, here we go. Well, we were never really that close that way, but we are two old men who have grown old together. Sometimes that's a greater closeness. We've come through time to your day and age. We can talk together quietly and share memories of a time that exists no more. I can tell you how it was, but it is not the same. It is not like being two foreigners trapped in a land we have come to, unable to return to our own and having only each other to confirm the reality of the place we once lived. At least once we could. It encompasses and speaks to the entire human experience of sharing a life with others in society. There's so much in this book that is just so artfully touching and magnificently done. I just can't stress enough how much that I enjoyed this and I'm loving this series. And that is why.
So this is not your book of the month, right?
This is absolutely my book of the month.
Okay.
As if there was any doubt.
Well done to Heidi for pushing Robin Hobb on you for so long.
Heidi and a lot of others. Many. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you to Heidi and everyone. And I mean, I would have got to it, but you guys, I have to tell you, so many of you guys, this has just been phenomenal. This reading journey since we joined BookTube, you guys just don't lead me astray. And being a part of these read-alongs and buddy reads and everything has just been absolutely magical. So here we go. Wow, look at that. That was September. That was the birthday month, September.
Look at that.
That was magic.
Yourself. That's a big stack.
That was pretty magical right there. That was a magical reading month.
I have faith for you for October. Looking at that stack, you could do it.
Let's hope, because I really want to get to book 3. I really, really want to get to book 3. We'll see what can be done. We will see what can be done. How was your month? Oh my gosh. Was it packed with 5-star reads? Did you pack it full of 5-star reads as well? Hit me up in comments. We love comments. The whole reason we started this channel was, just like I was saying, to get recommendations from all of you and turn our reading journey on its head, be a part of a community, and share our reading journey with you. So let us know, what did you get up to this month? What was your book of the month? Have you started the Farseer trilogy in Realm of the Elderlings? Hit us up. We're going to answer comments as quickly as we humanly can, because the whole reason we started this channel is to talk about books with people that love books, love the kind of books that we love. And hey, while you're down there, you're gonna see that it's a goofy little thumbs up button. But you know what? It really makes a difference. It's such an easy way to support the channel, support everything we do here, help us get further out there and meet new people, and grow this community and get new people to hang out with and talk about books. And while you're down there, if you haven't, maybe this is your first time, just stopping by and say, hey, what did this doofus read for a month? You know, I'm kind of interested to see how he did. And you haven't subscribed yet, or been a couple times and you haven't hit that button. Hey, it takes no time at all. Boop, microsecond. You're done. And then, you know, you can hang out and be a part and hang out all the time. We can talk books and we can get closer. That would be just amazing. And look, it's settled. I just have it on good authority. You hit that subscription button, you join a community, it gives you a little bit of a tingle.
Oh, man.
It gives you a little bit of a tingle.
Okay.
You feel good.
Sure.
It's just the facts, Jack.
It has been proven. It has.
It absolutely has been proven.
You doing okay?
Let me tell you something, man. My tongue's snapping off its rollers. That's a lot of books to talk about.
We're recording a little late tonight. You might need to go to bed.
Might need to go to bed. I'm up past my bedtime.
I fully believe that.
Yeah. You know it. You know it. Everybody, thank you so much. This was our month. Wow. My name is John Minton. That is
the wonderful Robin Hobb.
Oh, man. Let me tell you. I would be very proud of you.
I'd be proud of myself.
You would love these.
But I'm not Robin Hobb, so I'm not proud of myself.
No, well, you should still be. You're pretty awesome.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, everybody.
Absolutely. My name is John Minton, and this has been Talking Story.